Hi. You're going to be in the way of my presentation, sir. Don't make me call security. My name is Cintra Wilson. Thank you so much, Sarah, for making so many of my points for me. PowerPoint slide number 1, please. Am I standing in a proper light? Doom disguised as innocence, children scored to the earth. I stand before you all tonight prepared to be witch hunted and called out as a voice that acted against my country. I am presently in violation of a high-level security clearance because I feel that it is my moral duty to inform you and prepare you, my countrymen, for the battle to come. You will find these images disturbing. But I fear you would be doing yourself a grave disservice to improperly prepare yourself for the trials that lay ahead. We've all seen what happened to our friends and cohorts who succumbed to their socio-biological indoctrination and submit to the terror of procreation. I assume that if you're anything like me, you've already lost friends to the struggle. This is my parents. They were a good-looking professional couple with their lives ahead of them. They didn't know their world was about to be brought low by what society was still calling a bundle of joy. Me. Whoa, oh, fine. No, not that, there. After. They didn't know their environment suddenly was about to be overrun by a filthy, non-English speaking, no-income having sociopathic larva. A cruel parasite incapable of reason, covered in her own waste, who would turn their otherwise pleasant and hygienic lives into a screaming, sleepless, feces-covered nightmare of human desperation comparable to a Eugene O'Neill play. As a former child, I can only tell you the deep shame and remorse that I feel for having inflicted my infancy on my parents. My crimes were hideous. I was a monster. My head was tiny, and my brain was improperly formed. Nevertheless, I know what I was thinking in this picture. I was staring at my mother who was trying to feed me, and I was thinking, pardon my French, what the hell do you think you're doing with that spoon, you stupid bitch? I am so ashamed. For the next 3 years, I engaged in an all-out campaign to demoralize my parents and divide and conquer them. I perceived them as my enemies and obstacles to my happiness. For the first 2 years of my life, I virtually never stopped screaming at decibel levels comparable to that of a California condor. Soon, my parents were so exhausted, confused, and unhinged, I had them completely under my control. Total authoritarian control. I didn't have the rationale or the maturity or the basic house brokenness to be controlling any environment, and yet I had complete power because I would stop at nothing to get my way. Nobody realized what a monster I was. All they saw was a tiny, illiterate, blonde person covered in snot. That's Jennifer. As I got older, I realized it wasn't just me. I wasn't the one bad egg. It was all children. We all craved power, and we were all corrupt. Jennifer and I never laughed, except in this picture. And the only reason that we are laughing is because at this exact moment, we knew that we had both wet our pants simultaneously. Yes, we laughed. We reveled in our filth. Soon, I was sending hand signals to my parents as shortcuts for them to carry out my ruthless and often perverse commands. The tipsy woman behind me on the left didn't know she was about to be the first of my many unwitting lesbian conquests. The unfortunate man on my right was my great-grandfather, Poppy, shortly before my thumb turned straight down. All right. That is my sister. At 18 months old, she was already adept at animal cruelty. That cat's body, a very short time later, was found completely saturated with lemon yogurt. When it came to Barbie dolls, my sister was to Mattel what Pol Pot was to Cambodia. Whenever our mother digs in her herb garden to this day, she finds heads, legs, arms. In 8 months, my sister buried more dismembered blonde body parts than Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, Gary Ridgway, and 8 years of masterpiece mystery procedural crime dramas combined. On my right is my cousin Roscoe when he was 9 years old. He planned to stage a putsch. He told me of a crazy plan he had concocted with a local juvenile delinquent from the military academy. They were going to form a private army of boy soldiers who, he told me, through magic powers and Lego boats, intended to oust Juan Carlos I and conquer Spain. I laughed. I only regret now that I didn't believe his intentions to be true. 1 month later, he had an elaborate coronation to rival that of John Vidal Bocasa. He crowned himself Alfonso IX and pronounced himself to be Spain's liberator. Is he irrational? Yes. He's never had a passport. But he has the Lego boats. He wrote me that note. I told you I would cancer Spain. I think it's conquer Spain, cancer. Knowing Roscoe, it could be either one. Future generations of my family have only caused me to feel more heartbroken at the plight of the future. That's my niece, Charlie. She's proven to be an absolute barbarian. She has never been photographed without a finger up her nose, near the elbow. Her diaper, heavy with urine. We need no longer be slaves to the bizarre biological imperative that dooms us to lives of squalor by allowing children into our lives of our own free wills. God, some people even pray for it. It's insanity. We have reached the age of a new enlightenment, in which every man and woman is going to need all of their strength, all of their might and main to resist a worldwide army of children, which at this very moment is already engaged in plots to control the world you live in eventually. But in this new covert war against what I call the diaper class, we have hope. There's a resistance. It's small, but it is plucky, and it is a movement that is growing. We have manpower and we have secrets. These are 2 Class A Navy SEAL special operatives in deep cover who have volunteered for a duty that I can only describe as the most inhumane chaos. I can't tell you their names because their mom would kill them. There's a struggle right now to regain our sanity as a species. You know in your hearts that I'm telling you the truth. Children are vicious, disturbed, bacteria-ridden, and incredibly dangerous. But there is one known antidote to childhood. It is adulthood! Arise!